I'll be real brief here. You guys have probably read that. Obviously, some of you have in the Casper Star-Tribune about this land swap. This is a copy of the article right here. A friend of mine, Jim Kaufman, sitting in the back, he might be even better than myself to talk briefly on that tonight. He's done a little more background, talked to a few people. He has a title company, kind of knows the inner workings of the ownership of that land. Bottom line is, I just wanted to mention to everybody tonight that January 5th is going to be the first public hearing on this thing, or the first reading. I'm not sure exactly the technical stand on what they're doing on the 5th, but I think it's going to be open to the public without having to be on the agenda. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes.
So anybody in here that has any reason and has studied this, quick background on it is they're taking, the city has cajoled this deal with a guy named Michael Reed on the foot of Casper Mountain, where the bridle trail goes through his property, and it's been going through his property for years and years, and there's probably a prescriptive easement there that he can't block them off. But the city has decided that they've got a parcel of land on 21st and Wyoming Boulevard, and I'm familiar with it just because I own a piece of land near there as well. And I've asked the city over the last 10 years what their plans were with that land, just to kind of know what, you know, it's listed as a park on the county zoning map. And so it's zoned, if they actually really own it, and I'll let Jim kind of explain a little bit more of the land details on it, and not to waste everybody else's time here tonight, but the crux of the deal is they valued both of the properties at $1.6 million, which is
a joke.
Very suspect on both sides of it. And number two, if they legally can do something with it, it shouldn't be a land trade in most people's opinion. It should be put out to public. You know, it's the taxpayers' land, essentially, of Natrona County. So, you know, this inside backroom, smoke room filled deal looks a little suspect in a lot of our eyes. And Jim, if you would come up here real quick, why don't you explain a little bit about a little more of the detail? Is that all right, boss?
Do you mind?
Is that,
oh no, if you don't mind.
1 minute? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm tickled. Yeah.
Okay. So this is a piece of ground on 21st and Wyoming
Oh no, I'm
Boulevard
going to
that
get
is
up.
designated and zoned as a park. It belongs to the homeowners of Pratt Edition number 2, and it's not a piece of property that the city has the right to start playing with, as far as I'm concerned. We looked over the documents and everything that the original developer did, the Mock family. They developed that Pratt number 2 subdivision, and part of their requirements to the city was that they had to take this piece of ground and turn it into a park. Well, I don't know who's blowing smoke up the city council's butt, but I got to tell you, this is a piece of public ground that belongs to that subdivision, and in my opinion, they cannot do that. And for some reason, I think this may be a John Patterson situation, because I looked at the appraisals today, and they're dated back in June of 14.
Oh, you know it is.
So I'm pretty sure John had something to do with this, but the real problem I'm seeing is that we've got the city of Casper playing with a piece of property on Casper Mountain, and there's a lot of problems up there with the bridle trail, and those problems are easements are in place as far as we know, and we think that the users can use this, but Mr. Michael Reed has taken the position that he has some kind of right to cut off everybody, and if that's true, he needs to do that, but he doesn't need to come to the city of Casper and try and solve it with a land trade, because this is a bad deal. The taxpayers are going to lose a nice piece of property, and quite frankly, I think the homeowners in Pratt Edition number 2 are going to lose their park that they counted on when they bought their properties, right, Debbie?
Yeah, 21 years.
So this thing stinks to high heaven. I got to tell you, I looked at these appraisals with an appraiser today, and he looked at me and he said, this thing has no merit. There's no value in 1.7 is what the number actually came out to, Bob. And so we know that the appraisals are kind of skewed, and I think we hired a couple of appraisers that went to a number and got told what number to go to. And so be really cognizant of this situation, and these are the kind of things we got to go down to the city council and say, hey, You guys are playing with stuff that you don't need to be involved with. Please don't get involved with a land trade on a piece of parkland that isn't yours in the first place.
Right.
So that's kind of where I am on the background of this, and I'm happy to talk to you in the back of the room if you want to ask any other questions. Debbie's here with us, and hopefully she'll start coming here with us more often because she's pretty organized gal, and I think she gets it, So that's about all I know about it for right now. Okay.